In 1939, my father ran away from his hometown of Wacławek, Poland, towards Russia to escape the German invaders. He was 19 years old. A few months later, after settling into a small village just over the border into Russia, he sent for my mother. She was 18, and they had not yet married. In order to lead her to where he would be waiting, he hired a mule, a smuggler, who plied the border between the two countries.
Do you have a daughter, Renee? So they wondered, what are you going to do with me? So he said, well, I came to take her over on the Russian side. Her boyfriend is there and he wants her. My mother says, are you kidding? She didn't believe him. So my husband was smart enough to give him a picture and said on the picture, please, I love Renee so much I cannot live without her. Please let her go. And my father says, you know what? He opened the lapel and sewed in the $100 was a lot of money at that time. That's what he wanted. When the war broke out, the bank only let my father take out $100 a day, which was 5 days. That's all he managed to take out is 500. And he gave me 100, mind you, just to save my life.
My mother and father finally found each other in Russia a few weeks later.
He was with the Jewish families there in Białystok. Felt sorry for us, so she gave him a room there that she didn't need. She said, well, I cannot keep you here anymore. I didn't have any food, and they cannot feed you. You have to find someplace. So we went to Hayas. They took care of us a little bit. You have to go to Hayas. They'll tell you where you can go. And they gave us for the people that are here that ran away. So, so what was it? It was a big room, a piece of sack or something for everybody to lay down. Then in the morning they gave us some tea, hot water. And I said to my husband, this is going to be our life. So he said, you know what? I heard that the Russians say if you have a profession, they're going to take you deep Russia. And there, it's going to be a normal life.
They lived the remaining war years wandering throughout Russia. They made a life for themselves, learning fluent Russian along the way. For a time, my father worked as a ship's mechanic on the Volga. My sister was born at the southern end of the Volga in 1940 near Astrakhan. I was born in the far north of Siberia in 1943. They often found themselves with other groups of Jewish refugees in small towns or encampments organized by the Russian army to assist in the war effort. In the autumn of 1946, my family made its way to the Bergen-Belsen DP camp. This was a large refugee camp near the former concentration camp of Bergen-Belsen. Surviving Jews congregated here after the close of the war, and here people were able to find their loved ones as well as the fate of those still missing. At one point, it was the size of a small city of 30,000 people. There were newspapers, theaters, and cafes, and my mother sang in the cafes. My parents made many friends there who remained friends for life.
It was wonderful. We met people that went through the same thing, some from camps, some from Russia, and we became like friends, like family almost. Every family had one room, and it was nice. Well, the Hayas, they were sending us clothing for us and canned food and all. So once a week we were standing in line and everybody received some things. Pretty soon my husband opened a school. There were a lot of young boys that were left after the camp. They were 22, they didn't have a profession. My husband thought, well, I'll teach them how to take apart a car. They were kind of wild, so he tamed them. He did it because he wanted to educate those guys. He wanted to put them in place.
Although there were gates here and there, much of the area was circled with wire fencing. Although we were told to stay away from the fence and the soldiers on the other side, we naturally spent lots of time there. The soldiers often gave us chocolate, and I thought they were wonderful. Bergen-Belsen was the place from which many survivors emigrated, usually with the help of the JDC, whose mission it was to help settle Jews all over the world. The surviving members of my own family went to Israel, Brazil, Canada, and in our case, America. Every few weeks, my father would take the family to the train station where 10 or 12 other people were milling about, hugging and embracing, sometimes tearfully. Baggage and blanket-wrapped bundles were scattered about the platform along with confused children. But all I saw was the train and its mechanical elegance, spewing smoke and exuding unimaginable power. I wanted so just to get on it and go to whatever exotic place it would end up. What an adventure. Several times I boarded the train only to be yanked off by my father, who said, "We're not going." I always wondered when it would be our turn and where would we go. I later discovered that they were emigrating to places all over the world: Israel, Brazil, South Africa, and for a lucky few, America. One day my aunt and uncle got their turn. They were leaving for Israel via Brazil. Philip, my cousin and constant playmate, was also going, of course. I cried when the train pulled away. In late 1949, it was our turn. My father told us soon we would be leaving. "Where to?" I asked. "America," he said, which meant nothing to me at the time, just a new, different place. But I was so excited. For weeks on end, I asked, "Today? Today?" Finally, the day came, and we were the ones going up the steps to the railroad cars, with friends and well-wishers all around. Our journey to a new, permanent home had begun, and the train was the first step. I remember my father telling my sister and me that we would no longer have to run. "We'll make a new life in America," and so we did.